There's a few things I need to say before we get into this video. First things first, I'm a shill for the Call of Duty series, and I truthfully don't believe that there is a single bad Call of Duty. So if there's like a Call of Duty that's in B or C, but there's another Call of Duty that's in S, that just means that the Call of Duty that's in S, in my personal opinion, is just so good that it's hard to compare something to that. And second off, this is just my opinion. I do not believe in objective criticism or like any sort of like objective whatever when it comes to video games. Video games are an art form. Therefore, your opinions, your critiques, your whatever of them are completely subjective. The only thing that could come remotely close to being like an objective whatever when it comes to video games is, you know, Cyberpunk 2077's launch being utterly abysmal. That being said, we're going to be ranking all of the mainline games. No, we're not going to be ranking any of the spin-offs like, you know, Strike Team or Call of Duty Heroes. Shout out to all of y'all that actually know what those games are. Let's go ahead and rank these games in order, shall we? We're going to start out with Call of Duty 1. You know what? I have a soft spot in my heart for all of those pre-Call of Duty 4 Call of Duties. I'm going to go ahead and slap this one in an B. Is that really fair? I mean, I don't know. I really like these Call of Duty games. I do also have to be honest with myself just with some of the Call of Duties that came later. I think compared to the other Call of Duty, man, I don't know. Like, I really like Call of Duty 1. Call of Duty, if I'm going to leave it a B for now, but if I change my, depending on how the other rankings fall, it might go up to an A later on. So I can tell you right now, at the very least, Call of Duty 2 is going to go straight into an A. Between the campaigns, the multiplayer, Call of Duty 2 is a Call of Duty where if it was still alive and had like a thriving fan base to this day, I would still go back and revisit it often. Even though in some aspects it may be different or quote-unquote primitive in the eyes of some compared to the other games, you know, lacking like sprint and just like no kill streaks and very minimal to none customization. There's still just something about Call of Duty 2 where it's just something about the atmosphere of the game and the identity of the game. I utterly respect it. I've always loved it. And to this day, if you can find it cheap on sale or pick up a physical copy, it is backwards compatible on Xbox One. I could highly recommend either trying to maybe squad up with some buddies in multiplayer or just giving the campaign a playthrough. Next up, we got Call of Duty 3. I'm going to go ahead and put this one in a B. We might have our first C tier Call of Duty. There's nothing inherently like bad about Call of Duty 3. It's just that compared to some of the ones that came later, yeah, I don't know, Chief. I don't know. There was something about, like, the identity and, you know, whatever with this game where it's like, again, it's not a bad Call of Duty because I don't think there is a single bad COD game. It's just, it sort of felt more like Call of Duty 2.5 rather than a whole, you know, like, brand new iteration of the series, if that makes sense. There was some noteworthy things about the multiplayer, for example, where, you know, you had, like, all the vehicles that you could use in there, for example, and the gunplay overall felt pretty smooth. Like, it definitely, you could feel things moving towards COD 4 where, like, it started to feel a bit looser, a bit more refined. But all in all, it definitely doesn't leave the same impact that something like Call of Duty 1 and Call of Duty 2 does over time. Though it is still, you know, a huge title and a big part of Call of Duty's history. So I'm going to leave it in C for now. It might get bumped up to a low B later, but we're going to leave it there. Next up, we got Call of Duty 4. This one's going to go straight into the yes tier for me. This isn't just a nostalgia thing. In terms of the campaign, the multiplayer, sure, the multiplayer might be lacking some of the features like later Call of Duties would have, like Pick 10s or even like Gunsmiths or whatever, which, you know, obviously the Gunsmiths weren't relevant until Modern Warfare 19 later on. But still, there's something to be said about how simple the gameplay was in this game and how fun it remained to be despite that. I'm the type of guy where I don't need a lot of my games. You can have a very simple premise, and as long as the game is fun, you'll keep me coming back. And Call of Duty 4 did that. I have hundreds of hours in Call of Duty 4, despite how simple the game may seem at face value. Sure, you had some questionable things in this game, like stopping power plus M16 equals invincible, but we won't talk about that. Not to mention the campaign introducing some of the most iconic characters in video game history, Captain Price and Soap McTavish. Obviously, Soap McTavish was a mute in this game, but he was still there. Also spawning some memorable quotes like, "Your fruit killing skills are remarkable." I apologize for that terrible accent impression. I will never do it again. Call of Duty 4 absolutely deserves the yes tier. Next up, we got Call of Duty World at War, once again going into the yes tier. That, like, what do I even say about this game? Once again, the campaign, every single mission in this game's campaign was memorable. The multiplayer in this game, compared to Call of Duty 4, I still played it a lot, but I definitely found myself playing Call of Duty 4's multiplayer even more. In fact, even during, like, you know, World at War's time, when I needed my multiplayer fix, I did still play World at War, but there was still a lot of times where I went back to Call of Duty 4. And, I mean, Call of Duty Zombies, like, do I even need to say anymore? This was the first Call of Duty game to feature the also iconic Zombies mode, and, I mean, me as a person and a gamer would be completely different if it wasn't for that. So yeah, I mean, Call of Duty World at War definitely deserves the S tier. So we got MW2, once again, going straight into the S tier. The campaign, one of the most iconic campaigns, and has one of the most memorable villains. Not to mention all the quotes that villain has that is still being referenced and memed and, you know, put into clips to this day. Between the iconic knife kill at the end, the iconic multiplayer, the multiplayer is so iconic that it was literally Control-C and Control-V'd into Modern Warfare 3, this year's Modern Warfare 3. Spec Ops was an absolute banger as always. I absolutely love Spec Ops. I might be in the minority there, but especially in like the Modern Warfare 3 trilogy, or I should say specifically Modern Warfare 2 and 3 from the original trilogy, I put so many hours into the Spec Ops there. Always had so much fun with that. Modern Warfare 2, it's awesome that the campaign was remastered, and in a sense it was kind of remastered in Modern Warfare 3, but you know, Activision, now that it's owned by Microsoft, I'm literally begging y'all guys, can we please get a Modern Warfare 2 remastered? Next up, we got Call of Duty Black Ops 1, the first game in the Call of Duty Black Ops franchise, which is still going to this day with Cold War, and according to the leaks, we might be getting another one this year. We're not going to talk about that just yet, though. I mean, again, like, I feel like I'm giving all the same compliments, but, like, I can't help it. The campaign, amazing. The multiplayer, absolutely amazing. The next revolution of the Call of Duty multiplayer, in my opinion. I mean, Modern Warfare 2 in itself was also like another evolution of the multiplayer, but Black Ops 1 took it just a step further. And the zombies in the game was absolutely insane, but it was also amazing in the same time. You know, you have so many iconic maps, and literally every map in this game, I would say, is iconic. You have Kino, 5, Dead Ops Arcade, Ascension, Call of the Dead, Shangri-La, literally Moon. Not to mention that this is also where, like, Easter eggs began for the first time. We had our first official Easter egg in Ascension, and they carried through to the rest of the maps to the point of where we're literally blowing up the Earth and Moon, which leads to the events of Transit in Black Ops 2, which, you know, some people have their opinions on that. Personally, I've always loved Transit, some others not so much. I never understood the Transit hate, but hey, that's conversation for later on. But anyways, yeah, Black Ops 1, what can I say? It goes in the S tier. It was just innovative in all of the right ways. It didn't try to fix anything that wasn't broken. It just improved upon everything that was right. Next up, we got MW3, the finale to the original Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 3 trilogy, and what a way to end off that trilogy, man. The campaign, absolutely amazing. I know some people feel a little indecisive towards this game. Some people say MW2 is their favorite. Some say MW3 is their favorite. Heck, there might be some that say COD 4 is their, in fact, I do know some people that say COD 4 is their favorite, but for me personally, man, it's really hard to pick a favorite of the original 3, but I can definitely tell you that MW3 is my most played. I played the campaign in this game the most, I played the multiplayer in this game the most, and the Spec Ops I played the most, especially because Spec Ops had survival mode, which was essentially like Call of Duty Zombies, except, you know, humans instead. Front to bottom, such an amazing game, and I mean, just thinking about my memories with this game is almost enough to put me in tears between all the YouTube clips from the time, all the YouTube memes from the time, all the times that I spent split screening this game with friends back in the day. I'll never forget the times that I spent pulling all-nighters with my one buddy. Obviously not going to name drop him or anything, but if you're watching this video, you know who you are. Me and you literally sat up all the time. I remember, I'll never forget the one sleepover we had. We're literally from like sunset to sunrise. We were sitting there playing survival. And again, the campaign hits all the just right places in terms of the emotion, the story, the stakes. It's such a great, amazing, phenomenal masterpiece of a campaign. And then the multiplayer, it was essentially just like more of Modern Warfare 2, but that's not a bad thing by any means. Like, you know, I'm not trying to be reductive when I say that. It was just Modern Warfare 2, but more of it and also more balanced. And it was such a great and fun game. And I still go back to it to this day. There's still a thriving fan. Between Call of Duty 4 and onwards, there's a thriving fan base for basically like all of these Call of Duty games. You could really go back to any of them, but man, I love Modern Warfare 3. Next up, we have my all-time favorite Call of Duty, which means it's gonna go, I mean, these games aren't ranked individually inside of the tiers. I don't really do tiers like that. I just kind of slap it into a tier, but I'm gonna put Black Ops 2 all the way at the top of the S. This is my all-time favorite Call of Duty. Between the campaign, the multiplayer, the zombies, it's just, objectively speaking, if you want to, you know, get into it, like when it comes to zombies at least, Black Ops 3, I would say, is the all-time best just because, you know, like all around, bang for your buck. It has like 14 zombies maps in the game. Obviously, objectively, that's probably like the best bang for buck, but for me personally, when it comes to like the engine, the feel of the game, and just something about Black Ops 2, it's probably a nostalgia thing, I don't know, but there's something about Black Ops 2, it just always keeps me coming back. It's always been my favorite. Not to mention how innovative and unique that near future setting was at the time, and it's just, even to this day, man, the way they tackle the near future thing is definitely like my favorite out of like any other game that's done it, at least that comes to mind. Multiplayer was an absolute blast, and truly was that point where like, sure, in MW3 we started to see the beginnings of the YouTube community kind of flourish, but Black Ops 2, I feel like, is when we saw the next evolution of like content creators and that community just starting to really flourish and just everything really coming to their own there. Not to mention all the iconic maps that we got in Zombies, like Mob of the Dead, Origins, and whether you love them or hate them, Die Rise, Buried in Transit are all iconic in their own right. It's and Nuketown Zombies. All in all, there is not enough words in the English dictionary to describe my love and appreciation and joy that I feel when I look at Black Ops 2. It's my all-time favorite. I absolutely love this game. So many memories were made with it. All the all-nighters that I pulled with my friends, all the times that I spent playing alone, and to this day, all the videos that I make on this game, just playing this game. Black Ops 2, in my heart, it will forever and always be my favorite. Next up, I got Call of Duty Ghosts. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in a solid B. It's not a bad Call of Duty, but it's also not deserving of the A tier, in my opinion, at least compared to the other games. Again, I love Call of Duty Ghosts. If I'm gonna be honest, all of the Call of Duties on this list, I absolutely love all of them in their own ways. Like, I literally love every game in the Call of Duty franchise. Again, it's just that, you know, there's some where it's like, all right, you know what, this one definitely deserves S over this other one. And Call of Duty Ghosts, definitely going to go into a B. Compared to the things that we saw in Modern Warfare 3, yeah, just in the campaign alone, I would say it's B tier. It's not a bad campaign. It's just, it didn't really feel like it was trying to really kickstart a new story or, you know, do something evolutionary like, you know, the original Modern Warfare trilogy did. It was kind of just doing something. It seemed like it was going into some cool places by the end, but unfortunately, we all know how that went. The multiplayer was a lot of fun. I will say the multiplayer was a pretty fun evolution of things, though. There was a couple of points where it was like, all right, you're trying to fix what isn't broken, like with the perk system. I didn't hate the perk system. I just felt like it was an unnecessary change, but at the same time, it wasn't a bad change. I enjoyed it. It was different, which if that's what they were going for, then yeah, sure. I mean, I actually had a lot of fun, like trying to like micromanage it and piece it all together. So, you know, that was different there. I really enjoyed the weapon variety and gunplay in this game. I thought that was a lot of fun. I thought the field upgrades was a really cool innovation, but outside of that, you know, between the maps, like some of the maps being a bit too big, and then, Extinction was absolutely amazing as well. I had a lot of fun with the base Extinction map, and even beyond that, playing through all the DLCs throughout the season. Oh, and then we had, like, the Snoop Dogg voiceover pack in multiplayer. So, yeah, I have a lot of great memories with Call of Duty Ghosts. I remember getting this game on launch day and absolutely loving it. And to this day, I still love it. But just due to the campaign not necessarily leaving that same just, like, boom, like, right in the feels impact that the original Modern Warfare trilogy did, and just some other things, I don't know. I feel confident putting this one in a B, though I wouldn't, you know, feel bad about putting it in a low A either. Like, it is a really good game. It's just compared to some of the other games that are going to be going into A, I'm going to leave it in a B. Next up, we got Advanced Warfare. I'm going to put this one straight into an A. But when it comes to the campaign, one of my favorite campaigns in Call of Duty history. There's something about it. It's basically just like an action movie from start to finish. I know that can be said for a lot of Call of Duties, but this one especially, just with the way that it takes every aspect of the futuristic setting between all the cool gadgets and characters and the location and just like, you know, implementing it into the game and the story. And it's just, I don't know. I've always loved Advanced Warfare's campaign. It's a trip from start to finish while still hitting some emotional beats from time to time, like towards the end when the one character dies. I'm not going to spoil it just in case you guys haven't played it, but you know, that one always hits me in the feels. And then obviously right at the beginning of the game, you know, the iconic "I'll see you on the other side," which then also leads to the "press F to pay respects," which is literally like one of the most, you know, iconic memes in just social media now, to a point of where some people don't even know that originally came from Call of Duty. Like the whole "put an F in chat," yeah, that came from Advanced Warfare. The multiplayer was a lot of fun. It basically, to me, just felt like a Modern Warfare multiplayer, but, you know, with exo movement. Like, in terms of the gunplay, at least, it had that Modern Warfare-ish feel, but then you have, like, the sound design and aesthetic design and just, you know, gameplay design of the futuristic setting. You have all the advanced movement and gunplay and stuff like that. And then I know the supply drop system was a little controversial to some. For me, personally, I always enjoyed the supply drops. I just didn't enjoy the monetization aspect of it. Like, I always thought that supply drops were a cool idea on paper, except for when real monetization was put into it, if that makes sense. Like, in my mind, the perfect way to, I guess, utilize the supply drop system, or the best way to execute it, would be to where you can unlock things from the supply drops, but everything from the supply drops can be unlocked in-game. Sort of like think to like World War II, for example, where there's a lot of things that you can unlock through the supply drops, but just through playing, you can also work up like enough salvage or scraps or whatever to craft the stuff that you want. I feel like that's the best middle ground, and I feel like that's how they should have executed it and not relied so much on monetization. But at the same time, it's Activision, so what can you expect? Then you had Exo Survival in this game, which was basically like the next iteration of Modern Warfare Survival, and that was a lot of fun, but I definitely didn't play as much as I did in Modern Warfare 3. But then, you know, once you beat the survival mode, then you got the teaser for Zombies, which led us into the DLC season. I loved all the DLC maps, which, you know, were all like Exo Zombies maps. I thought they were all an absolute blast. I played a ton of Descent back in the day, too. I just thought the Wonder Weapon in the map was so cool, the way it, like, bounces the orbs around and kills all the zombies. But all in all, yeah, I'm cool with giving Advanced Advanced Warfare and A tier. It's a great Call of Duty in my opinion. Black Ops 3, this may be controversial, but I'm gonna put it in the S tier, and the only reason I say it's controversial because all of these in the S tier I've been saying, oh, they have great campaigns. Black Ops 3, it's a cool campaign. It requires like 3 hours of external research to even understand what's going on. Beyond that, I don't want to sound like a broken record, so we're going to start to shorten things up here. The multiplayer, once again, they brought back the advanced movement from Advanced Warfare, but kind of refined it. I feel like Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, which will be ranking next, I feel like Infinite Warfare was the most refined multiplayer in terms of the movement, but Black Ops 3 really started to tighten things up. The gunplay felt amazing in this game. I thought the cosmetics were really cool. The supply drops, the systems in this game were a little too scummy, in my opinion. Between the supply drops and multiplayer and the liquid divinium and zombies, I feel like it was starting to get a little scummy there, but you know, in zombies it wasn't that bad. It was definitely still manageable, and obviously gobblegums weren't required, so it's not a huge deal. And again, the same case can be made for multiplayer, like, hey, the supply drops weren't required, you didn't need those weapons, but at the same time there wasn't any way to unlock those weapons otherwise, or those cosmetics otherwise, so kind of a gray area there, but otherwise the gunplay felt great. I thought all the emotes, even though they were a bit ridiculous, I did really appreciate the goofy, more lighthearted atmosphere of the multiplayer with everybody doing backflips and dabs in the winter circle. That's another thing. The winter circle was always cool, and I don't know, this is just another Call of Duty where I have a lot of great memories with it. I have at least, oh my gosh, dude, I don't even know how many hours I have into this game. It's a ridiculous amount, though. And again, the zombies, we talked about it earlier, but you know, I mean, Zombies Chronicles, all the amazing maps you got in this game, like Black Ops 3 by itself, Shadows of Evil, The Giant, Horizon Drox, Zetsubo, Ground Curvy, and Revelations, all amazing maps there. And then you get like basically every World of War map in the game, every Black Ops 1 map except for Call of the Dead, and then Origins from Black Ops 2, like all of that in one package. Just, yeah, to this day, you can still pick up the Zombies Chronicles edition of Black Ops 3 on PS4 for like $60, and even at that price, yeah, dude, that's an absolute steal. So much content, and all in all, just such an amazing Call of Duty, and to this day, it is, I would say it was not the last good Call of Duty Zombies mode, but the best one that we've had since it released. Next up, we have Infinite Warfare, which I'm going to put in a solid A tier. It has the most refined multiplayer and unfortunately brought back the supply drop system, but this one was less scummy and did implement some of the elements that I was talking about, where you can actually work for a lot of stuff in the game. Zombies was really great in this game, though it definitely wasn't on that S tier level throughout the entire season. Zombies in Spaceland, one of my favorite Zombies maps of all time. Raven the Redwoods was a lot of fun too, and so was Shaolin Shuffle, going for like the whole melee thing. But then the last two maps, you know, they weren't bad per se, but they definitely didn't leave the same impact that the first two did. The Super Easter Egg was really cool though, once you get to like the Mephistopheles and all that stuff like that. Oh, just so amazing. Multiplayer, again, the gunplay was really fun there, felt really good. The TTK felt great. The movement was really refined. It felt really good. The specialist, oh, that's another thing I forgot to talk about. Black Ops 3 introduced specialist system. Always loved it in Black Ops 3. It didn't have the same amount of character to it in Infinite Warfare, but I still thought it was great. And honestly, if we were ranking off of campaigns alone, I would put Infinite Warfare in the S tier, just because the campaign in this game is absolutely one of the best Call of Duty history. Absolutely love it. But, you know, all in all, when you look at the game as an overall package, between the second half of the Call of Duty zombie season kind of lacking there in Infinite Warfare, and the multiplayer in general just not leaving the same impact, though still feeling like a great and fun game, all in all, I feel pretty comfortable giving Infinite Warfare an A. Next up, we got World War II. This one is gonna go probably, yeah, I feel pretty good putting it into an A. If we were looking at launch for this game, I'd probably put it in a B, but where it's at now, I feel confident giving it an A. Again, I really love the campaign of this game. The zombies was a pretty cool take on it. The first couple of maps, I don't know, man. Tortured Path, more like torturing me every time that I play it. I don't really know how I feel about that map, man. Is it bad? No, but I don't know. It's not one that's like highly replayable in my opinion. At least I don't find myself, like, it is replayable, but I don't know. It's not one of those ones where I'm like constantly trying to go back and play it. The campaign, I had a lot of fun with it. The multiplayer is absolutely amazing in this game. I'm not even going to try to debate that with anybody. I absolutely love the multiplayer. It is absolutely amazing. And the zombies, I mean, Grossed House was a lot of fun. The Final Reich was a lot of fun, and those maps alone are some of my favorite in Call of Duty, you know, zombies history. So yeah, I feel pretty good putting that one in an A tier. Next up, we got Black Ops 4. This one, ooh, wow. I think this might be our first B. Ooh, I don't know. Actually, no. You know what? I don't know. Ah, man. See, okay, the only reason I'm going to put it in a B is because of Blackout. Me personally, I just didn't find myself playing Blackout a whole lot. I felt like, as fun as Blackout was, and as much as I prefer Blackout over Warzone, I don't know. I felt like that's where Call of Duty was starting to kind of lose sight of what it should have been focused on, which was, you know, being its own thing, because this is where Call of Duty really started to try to like sell its identity to fit in with the cool kids. which is kind of messed up because Call of Duty always was the cool kid. They were the ones setting trends. They were the one, revolutionizing the industry. And then with Black Ops 4, we started to see this trend where they started to implement elements from other games like the Season Pass and all that other stuff to where they just, again, we're just trying to fit in with the cool kids, follow the trends. And yeah, I don't know, man. The multiplayer in this game, it was a lot of fun, but it's not one that I played as much as the other games. Sure, I still went through, grinded it out, got hundreds of hours out of it. But it's not one that I go back to as often to this day. And even to this day, when it comes to replaying Call of Duties, this isn't one of the ones that's super high on the list. I do get the craving to play from time to time, but not as much as I do to go back to something like, say, Black Ops 2 or MW3 or anything like that. And the zombies in this game, it was great, but I don't even think it stacks. Obviously it doesn't stack up to Black Ops 3. And while there was some great maps in this game, like I really do enjoy Blood of the Dead and 9 and some of the other maps in the game, like Ancient Evil. I don't know. It's just overall, and this game didn't even have a campaign. So when you put all that, I don't know, in my opinion, I think I'm cool putting it at a B, but I don't know if I could really put it up here simply because I don't find myself going back to this game's multiplayer as often. I do go back to the zombies really often, which the zombies alone is enough for me to want to put it in an A, but surely in my heart, just because of the multiplayer and all the other things in the game, I think I gotta put it in a B, unfortunately. Next up, we got Modern Warfare 2019. This one is going to be very, very, very spicy of a take for me, but I think... Ooh, do I put it in an A or an S? You know what? Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm going to put it in an S. And that is because this is not including Warzone. This is Modern Warfare 2019, not including Warzone. Warzones are down here, which we'll rank those in a bit. Modern Warfare 2019, sure, midway through the life cycle, they introduced Warzone, but I'm going to consider Warzone to be a different game. I'm going to look at Modern Warfare 2019 at face value. It rebooted the Modern Warfare franchise very successfully so. I would say Modern Warfare 2, or Modern Warfare 2019 from a campaign standpoint alone did a phenomenal job rebooting the campaign, introducing new characters while also bringing back old ones. I love the new iterations or new versions of like Gaz and Captain Price, for example. Love the new story. Love, as much as I love like the cinematicness of the original Modern Warfare trilogy, and I would say that I would find myself replaying those more often, I can appreciate and do respect and love the more grounded approach in the new Modern Warfare trilogy, which obviously we know it's going to be more than a trilogy because obviously there's going to be a fourth game coming if you beat Modern Warfare 3, but all in all, between the campaign, absolutely love that. The multiplayer, I made a video talking about it just like a week ago at this point. Love the multiplayer, the co-op, again, got a lot of time out of that, and then also like the survival mode in this game. Definitely didn't play the survival in as much as I did back in Modern Warfare 3, the original, but still played the survival in this one a good bit, and all in all, Modern Warfare 2019 gets the S tier. Black Ops Cold War, another one going into the S tier. Campaign, one of my favorites in the Call of Duty series. Maybe in like I'd say like the top 10 in the Call of Duty series when it comes to campaigns. The top 5s would probably be like some of these that are sitting right up here. But definitely in like the top 10 for me, the multiplayer, one of the most content-packed and just one of the most fun multiplayer experiences all in all. When SBMM isn't trying to, destroy and cripple your experience. And then zombies, the maps I wouldn't say are as memorable as something like Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 2, just because a lot of them do kind of fall into the facility thing. But from a gameplay perspective, it's a lot of fun. D-Machine, Firebase E, Mauertoten, Forsaken, and then you got like the new Outbreak mode, which kind of led to things that we got in Modern Warfare 3. And just, I don't know, man, all in all, there's so much content there. And not to mention like Onslaught and just all the other stuff that you got in Zombies. There's so much content to go through. Onslaught alone gives you like an extra like 20 to 30 maps to play on. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But Black Ops Cold War, campaign, multiplayer, zombies, there's not a single aspect of this game that I felt was slacking. It hit on all the right fronts. It is one of the most content-rich, if not the most content-rich and content-packed Call of Duty that we've ever received in terms of weapons and maps and just everything else. And I don't know, this game has such a strong identity. I have so much love and respect for it. I still go back to play it to this day quite consistently, and I don't know, man. And I know this isn't really part of the rankings, but even grinding out like mastery camos in this game, like DM Ultra and Dark Ether, wasn't a pain like some of the other Call of Duty games are, so a lot of respect to this game for that, but yeah, man, love Black Ops Cold War so much. One of my favorites of all time. Next up, we got Vanguard. I feel comfortable putting this one in a B, C, B. Yeah, I think I can put it in a B simply because the zombies in this game, while I personally did enjoy Duran Fong and Terra Maledicta, I really did play, like, I loved Shinonuma, right? Like, once that came out, I put so many hours into that, grinded out most of the Dark Ether camo on that map alone. The Archon was cool. I love the Easter egg in that map, but admittedly, I don't play it as much. Like, I don't return to it as often. I go back to it when I want to do the Easter egg, but I don't return to it just to go for high rounds like I do with Shinonuma. I still go back to that one really often in this game. The campaign was a lot of fun, but definitely not on the A or the S tier, I would say, probably in my opinion. But it was still a great campaign nonetheless. I really liked the new formula they went for with, like, the flashback thing, trying to explain the new characters. Hey guys, so this is awkward. My phone just hit me with the good old "you ran out of storage" warning, so we're gonna go ahead and try to pick up the pace here towards the end. The multiplayer in this game is essentially like Modern Warfare 2019 with the World War II coat of paint, and I absolutely loved it for it. The gunplay felt great, the score streaks were awesome, the maps were awesome, gave us classics like Das House, and man, I Mayhem, that's the other one. I absolutely love that map as well. The only reason I'm talking points is just because while the campaign was, serviceable, it was good, and while the zombies, I had a lot of fun with something like Shinonuma towards the end. I don't know, man, it started, identity is an important thing for me when it comes to these Call of Duty games. Is it a necessity? No, but it adds points when it can keep that strong identity the whole way through. And I don't know, man, the laser weapons and the laser sight stuff was getting a little crazy, and some of the bundles and stuff like that. I don't know, man. All in all, still a great game, though. I do really enjoy it. It's just, I gotta rank it where it fits among the other Call of Duty games. Next up, we got MW2. MW2 and 3 are definitely gonna be controversial ones, probably in the lens of most people. I'm gonna put it in A. I really loved the campaign in this game. I thought the campaign was absolutely amazing. The one mission alone is one of the most memorable missions for me in Call of Duty history, simply because of, maybe not. No, you know what? No, I won't take that back. In Call of Duty history, yes, I would say so. It's one of the most unique and innovative things that we've ever seen in Call of Duty. Them trying to do almost like a survival horror thing where you're crafting. That was so cool. And then the multiplayer in this game, I know that's another very divisive topic, but for me personally, I really enjoyed it. The snappy and quick TTK. Sure, the movement was a bit weightier and a bit slower, but they were also going for a bit of a more realistic, slower vibe. So, I can respect it, and I appreciate what they were going for there. All in all, I do have some gripes with the way that monetization was handled with some of the bundles. Not necessarily how it was handled. Well, actually, yes, with how it was handled, but also some of the bundles we saw, like Nicki Minaj and 21 Savage, and I don't know, that stuff was just starting to get a little out of hand in Modern Warfare 2, if you ask me. Otherwise, the co-op in this game was a lot of fun, too. There was a lot of content in this game when you think about it, too. We had, the raids and co-op and multiplayer and campaign, and all around, I had fun with every single mode in this game. I love Modern Warfare 2, and especially with that campaign. Yeah, I can see myself replaying that one for years to come, and it's just, I don't know, I love this game. Oh, and the camo grind. It wasn't that bad this year. Granted, the 1200 long shots towards the end of the grind was still pretty tedious, but otherwise, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, like it was in some other years, and it was a fun game. And finally, I can't, I can rank it, but I can't rank it in terms of, with retrospect or, 2020 hindsight, per se. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and slap it in an A tier. The campaign, I actually really enjoy the campaign in Modern Warfare 3. I enjoyed where the story was going. I know the ending is a little divisive for some, but for me, I can respect how I gotta be careful with what I say here, so I don't want to spoil it. With the ending, I can live with it just because they're going for a bit more of a realistic take here, so I can understand why things happen so swiftly. They're realistically, when you're actually in war, there isn't going to be a huge build-up to something like that. It's just going to be snap, and you got to try to just register it in the moment and try to comprehend everything that just happens. So some people have their gripes with the campaign. Me personally, I actually really did enjoy it. I do wish it could have maybe been fleshed out, or maybe we could have gotten just some more from it, or maybe it could have been a bit longer. Just I kind of felt like it was ending right when there should have been at least a couple more missions. I don't know. I really feel like there should have been a bit more there at the end. But regardless, I'm okay with it. I'm cool with holding out for the next Modern Warfare game. I feel like there's some places they could go with it. They could really expand on it. The multiplayer in this game, it has all the maps from Modern Warfare 2, so that alone almost makes me want to put it in the S tier. The multiplayer itself, when it comes to guns, gunplay, all that, obviously is great. It brings back all the guns from Modern Warfare 2, which in itself is worth praising. One of the most consumer-friendly things, if not the most, Activision has ever done in recent years. And then the zombies, I had a lot of fun with it at first, though. The one thing I will say about zombies is that once you complete all the content, once you do all the missions and all your and you get all your schematics, there's not really a reason to keep playing it. So unfortunately for me at this point, that's where I'm at. I've done all the missions. I've gotten all the schematics. I don't really have a reason to play it. But that being said, between the camo grinds in the game, for the zombies camo grind at least, that's a lot of fun, and that's enough to keep you coming back even once you complete that stuff. So I will give them props there. That was a lot of fun. And also over at multiplayer, the camo grind was a lot of fun there as well. It wasn't anywhere near as egregious as it's been in some years, and I would say this has probably been my favorite camo grind out of any Call of Duty game, or at least one of them. Definitely up there with Black Ops Cold War, for example. And also the other camo grind in the game, bioluminescent from Modern Warfare 2, essentially the same as going for Borealis. That one isn't egregious as well. That one's actually pretty fun to go for. So yeah, all in all, I'm really enjoying Modern Warfare 3 so far. We may end up doing another ranking next year once the next Call of Duty comes out, and at that point, once all the seasons are over, we'll see how this one ends up ranking by that point. And then we got Call of Duty Warzone. I'm gonna go ahead and put Warzone 1 in a solid, that's Warzone 3, sorry. Okay, so we have Warzone 2, F, and no, that's Warzone 3, put that in an F. Warzone 1 and C, maybe, I don't know. I did have some fun times with it, so maybe that's enough to put it in a B, but I don't know. Warzone 2, Okay, you know what? Maybe I won't be so mean to them. Okay, maybe you know what? How about this? How about I put them in a C? I don't think that they're actually worthy of the F tier, but Warzone 1, I mean, like, I had some fun with it, so I'll leave it in a B. Yeah, Warzone 2, I think a C sounds about right. Like, it's a fun mode, but I don't know, man. Compared to, like, when you're comparing it to actual Call of Duty games, like, even Black Ops 4, Infinite Warfare, yeah, I think that's pretty fair where it's at. I mean, would I rather play Extinction or Warzone 2? Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the answer's pretty obvious. And with Warzone 3, I've barely even touched it. I played it. I got my first Warzone win already, my first solo Warzone win. But beyond that, I don't know, man. Yeah, Warzone is just. It's not. I mean, it's a fun mode. Like, if we weren't ranking Call of Duties, these would probably go like really high up. Just because, like, if we were ranking battle royales, these would go so high up. Just because, it's a really fun battle royale. But it's also not Call of Duty, so there's that. It's hard to rank something that doesn't feel like Call of Duty among other Call of Duty games. It's just I don't know, man. There's something clashing in my head there, but they're fun. They're just. There's something else, man. They're trend chasing, and I don't know how I feel about it, but I feel like I'm cool with those rankings. Anyway, these are my final rankings, and now I'd love to hear from you guys. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I know you guys are gonna let me know anyway. That's how social media and the internet is, but let's just try to not be too toxic, please. These are all just my opinions. Every human has opinions. We're entitled to our own opinions. It's just let's keep things peaceful, keep things civil. Let's just have a nice conversation down below, if anything. And also let me know how you guys would rank these games, and I mean. Obviously, I know that would be a lot to type out, but just, maybe just let me know where, like, certain games rank for you. And if you guys have any suggestions or requests for other tier lists, just let me know. I love doing videos like this, and I'd be more than happy to do another one. But anyways, always massive shout out, thank you to all the Patreons and channel members, thank you to all in the low bullet tier, and your biggest shout out, thank you to all in the big bullet tier, Mellow Asking, but Daddy Manny, the biggest shout out, thank you to all in the J tier, Ron Events, Cheese Girl, thank you guys so much, you guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching, have an amazing day, stay beautiful, I love you all. Peace.